In the blistering heat of the
Speaking,
Arizona desert, where the sun
ride
scorched the
at
earth
first
like an
light.
unrelenting forge and
Prepare
the wind
yourself.
whispered secrets through the canyons, a lone cowboy named Jack Harlan rode his weary horse toward the fading horizon, his shadow stretching long and thin like a ghost from his past. 20 years had etched deep lines into his face, lines born of loss, regret, and the kind of solitude that hollowed a man from the inside out. But on this day, as dust devils swirled around him like forgotten memories, a figure emerged from the shimmering mirage, a woman draped in Apache beads in a simple cotton dress, her eyes fierce and familiar, stepping forward with a purpose that stopped his heart cold. She raised her hand, not in threat but in revelation, and in that instant, the weight of 2 decades crashed upon him like a flash flood, for she was no stranger, but the echo of a life he had once saved, now returned to claim a debt he never knew he owed. If you believe in the power of kindness and the beauty of second chances, hit that like button, drop a comment below sharing your own story of redemption, share this video with someone who needs a reminder that the past can heal, and subscribe to Gentle Hearts for more tales that touch the soul and restore faith in humanity. Jack Harlan had been a young ranch hand back in 1905, barely 20 himself, when the world was still wild and unforgiving in the territories, a place where lawmen and outlaws blurred into one another under the vast, indifferent sky. He worked the cattle drives from Texas to New Mexico, his days filled with the rhythmic thud of hooves and the sharp crack of whips, but it was on a stormy night in the Apache lands that his path crossed with destiny. A raid had torn through a small village, flames licking the night as gunfire echoed like thunder, and amid the chaos, Jack stumbled upon a girl no older than 10, huddled beneath the ruins of a burned-out wagon, her dark hair matted with ash and blood, her eyes wide with terror that pierced him deeper than any bullet. She was Apache, caught in the crossfire of white settlers' greed and tribal feuds, her family scattered or slain, and though Jack was no hero, just a drifter with a revolver and a code of his own, he couldn't leave her there to die. He scooped her up, her small frame trembling against his chest, and rode through the night, evading pursuers with the desperation of a man who had seen too much death already. He delivered her to a mission outpost, where kind nuns promised to care for her, and as he turned to leave, she clutched his sleeve, whispering words in her native tongue that he didn't understand but felt in his bones, a plea, a gratitude, a bond forged in fire. Years passed like seasons in the desert, harsh and fleeting, and Jack built a life on the fringes of civilization, settling on a modest ranch in the shadow of the Superstition Mountains, where the land was as stubborn as he was. He married once, a sweet woman named Clara who brought light to his shadowed world, but tuberculosis claimed her after only 5 years, leaving him with a daughter, Emily, who grew up wild and free but carried the same haunted look in her eyes that Jack saw in his mirror each morning. The ranch struggled against droughts that cracked the earth open like wounds, against rustlers who stole his livestock under moonless nights, and against the encroaching railroads that promised progress but delivered only isolation for men like him. Jack's hands grew calloused from mending fences and digging wells that ran dry, his heart hardened by the relentless grind, yet deep down, a flicker of that old rescue lingered, a quiet pride that he had done one good thing in a life marred by mistakes. He drank too much whiskey on lonely evenings, staring at the stars as if they held answers, wrestling with the guilt of not being enough, for Clara, for Emily, for the boy he once was who dreamed of something more than survival. Emily, now 18, helped as best she could, her laughter a rare balm, but she sensed her father's unspoken burdens, the way he flinched at thunder, remembering that fateful night. The woman who appeared that afternoon called herself Lila, though Jack knew her true name was something ancient and sacred, whispered by her people under the same stars. She had traveled far, from the reservations where she had been raised by the mission and later by distant kin, her life a tapestry of resilience woven from loss. As a child, she had clung to the memory of the cowboy who saved her, his face etched in her mind like a carving in stone, fueling her through years of hardship, the forced assimilation in schools that stripped her of her language, the prejudice that shadowed her every step in white towns, the ache of belonging nowhere fully. She learned English, worked as a healer drawing on Apache traditions blended with mission teachings, and in time, she sought him out, driven by a pull she couldn't ignore, a debt of life that blossomed into something deeper, a love born of gratitude and fate. But arriving at his ranch, she found not the invincible savior of her youth, but a broken man, his ranch teetering on ruin, his daughter eyeing her with suspicion, and the weight of 20 years pressing down like the desert sun. Lila's presence stirred the dust of forgotten emotions, her stories of survival mirroring his own struggles, yet Jack resisted, his heart scarred by loss, fearing that opening it again would invite more pain. As days turned to weeks, Lila integrated into the rhythm of the ranch, her hands skilled in tending herbs that healed sick cattle, her knowledge of the land guiding them to hidden springs during the drought. She shared meals by the fire, her voice soft yet strong, recounting the night he saved her not as a tale of heroism, but as the spark that ignited her will to live, to fight for her heritage amid a world intent on erasing it. Jack found himself drawn to her quiet strength, the way she mended not just fences but fractures in his soul, yet challenges mounted like storm clouds. Rustlers grew bolder, striking at night and leaving threats carved into barn doors, whispers of old feuds reignited by Lila's Apache roots stirring unrest among neighboring settlers who viewed her as an intruder. Emily, torn between loyalty to her father and jealousy of this woman who seemed to understand him in ways she couldn't, lashed out in quiet rebellions, running off to town and courting danger with reckless boys. Jack struggled inwardly, his nights plagued by dreams of that fiery village, guilt resurfacing for the lives he couldn't save, including his own wife's, and doubt gnawing at him. Was he worthy of this second chance, or would he fail Lila as he felt he had failed others? Suspense built as the rustlers' attacks escalated, culminating in a moonlit ambush that left Jack wounded, his blood soaking the parched soil as he defended the ranch alone. Lila, hearing the shots, rode out with a rifle she had learned to wield in her youth, her Apache heritage fueling a fierce protectiveness that turned the tide, driving the intruders away in a hail of bullets and shadows. In the aftermath, as she bandaged his wounds under the flickering lantern light, emotions spilled over like a dam breaking. Jack's confessions of regret, his fear of love's fragility, met by Lila's unwavering resolve, her declaration that she had come not just to repay a debt, but to build a future where kindness triumphed over hardship. Emily, witnessing this, softened, recognizing in Lila the mother figure she had lost, and together, they began to heal the ranch and their hearts, planting seeds in barren soil that symbolized renewal. Change came gradually, like rain after a long dry spell, as the community, moved by tales of Lila's bravery, eased their prejudices, offering help in rebuilding fences and sharing water rights. Jack proposed under a canopy of stars, not with grand gestures but with the simple promise of partnership, and their wedding blended Apache rituals with cowboy traditions, a union that bridged worlds once divided. Emily flourished, finding her own path in healing arts passed down from Lila, and the ranch prospered, its fields green with hope. 20 years after that fateful rescue, Jack realized that saving Lila had, in turn, saved him, a circle of redemption that proved kindness echoed through time, touching lives in ways unseen. As the sun sets on this tale of love reborn from the ashes of the past, if this story has stirred something deep within you, if it's reminded you that second chances can heal even the deepest wounds, please like this video, comment below with your thoughts on what kindness means to you, share it with a friend who needs inspiration, and subscribe to Gentle Hearts for more stories that uplift and move the spirit. Before we end, I'd love for you to comment the line, "Kindness echoes forever." If this story touched your heart, let's fill the comments with echoes of hope.